أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome. So today we're going to be exploring a chapter of the Quran that's, well, it's less of a story and more like a spiritual diagnosis of the human heart. Let's begin our reflection together.
Everything starts with just a single sound. Ṣād. Go on, try to pronounce it yourself. Feel how your tongue presses right up against the roof of your mouth, how your whole chest seems to compress like there's a gentle weight on it. You see, this isn't just a letter on a page. It's a vibration. It's a physical experience.
And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? How on earth can one sound hold the key to understanding the human ego, to unlocking the very architecture of our own resistance to truth? Let's dive in and explore that together.
Now, I really want to make sure we give credit where it's due. This incredibly deep understanding we're about to unpack is based on material beautifully compiled by Mir Ali Shah for the Living the Wisdom of the Quran podcast. We're truly honored to be able to share these insights with you. So let's start right there, with the sound itself. What secrets could possibly be encoded within this powerful vibration, the one that opens one of the most psychologically profound chapters in the entire Quran?
Spiritually, the sound of Ṣād is said to literally press down on our illusions. It's like it forces the ego to finally just exhale all of its self-importance. This whole surah, this chapter, is about metaphysical boundaries and, more importantly, what happens when our ego refuses to accept them. Think of it as a roadmap to our own inner ego storm.
And to really get a feel for its power, you've got to see where it fits in the Quran. The chapter right before this one, Al-Qamar, it shows us the consequence, the devastating flood that comes after a truth has been denied. But Sūrah Ṣād, it takes us to the source. It diagnoses the cause. It's about that first tiny hairline crack in the heart that lets the destructive waters seep in.
And what's just incredible is that this whole journey is encoded in the letter's numerology. Its value is 90. That represents compression, right? The pressure right before a major transformation. Then that reduces down to the number 9, which signifies completion, the ego reaching its absolute breaking point. And where do you go from there? Back to zero, annihilation, where our constructed identity is stripped away until only the origin remains. It's all there. Compression, completion, annihilation. The surah's entire story is hidden in its very first sound.
Now, this whole idea of spiritual pressure wasn't just some abstract concept. You have to understand, this surah was revealed during a literal storm of anxiety and pressure in Makkah, and yet its wisdom speaks directly to the storm that can rage inside each and every one of us.
So on the outside, you had this historical drama playing out. The leaders of Makkah felt their entire power structure was threatened by this new message, and their accusations were really just psychological shields. But that outer reality, it's a perfect mirror for the inner one, the ego's stubborn resistance to surrender, that deep insecurity that always tries to mask itself as pride.
And this surah, it gives us a kind of spiritual signature, a set of things to look for within ourselves. It exposes kibr, or pride, and we're not just talking about social arrogance here, but a deep, primal resistance to our own limits. It shines a light on takdhib, or denial, not denying evidence, but denying our own need for inner change. And it presents Iblis, or Satan, as the ultimate archetype of this refusal. But it also gives us the cure, prostration and remembrance, the very acts that dissolve the ego's throne and reconnect us to our source.
And of course, this isn't a new idea. For centuries, the great spiritual masters of the Sufi tradition have been reflecting on these exact themes. Let's hear how they understood the incredible power of Sūrah Ṣād.
Take the early master Sahel al-Tusturi. He saw it as this powerful spiritual tool. For him, the sound of Ṣād literally crushes the nefs, our ego self. It clears away all the internal noise so that the heart finally has enough silence and space to actually hear the divine message. Then you have the great Sheikh Ibn Arabi, and he saw it as something even more. For him, it wasn't just a tool for crushing the ego, but for unveiling it. He taught that Sūrah Ṣād exposes the very blueprint, the architecture of our refusal to bow. And then there's Rumi, who, with his incredible poetic insight, just brings it right into our own hearts. He says that inside every single one of us, there's a little Iblis, a little voice that's always whispering, "I am better." You know that voice, the voice of comparison, of envy, of pride. And reciting Sūrah Ṣād, he says, is like a cleansing fire that just burns that toxic whisper away.
Okay, so this is all really profound, but what does it mean for you and me right now in our daily lives? How do we take this ancient wisdom and actually apply it? What are the real benefits of engaging with this chapter?
Well, the tradition holds that this surah is a potent cure for that hidden pride, the kind we don't even know we have. It acts as a protection for the heart against those corrosive states of envy, rivalry, and resentment. It's even considered essential spiritual training for anyone in a position of leadership or influence, to help purify their intentions. But ultimately, it acts as an anchor for the heart, calming that inner storm and grounding us in the remembrance of who we truly are, beneath all the layers of ego.
So as we start to bring this all together, it's so vital to see this surah not as some ancient text to be memorized, but as a path to be walked, a personal journey from the tight constriction of pride to the beautiful expansion of humility.
Because in the end, that's what this is all about. Sūrah Ṣād is not just a story we learn. It's a living, breathing mirror that we are meant to stand before. A mirror we hold up to our own hearts, our own egos, and all of our own hidden resistances.
So I'll just leave you with this final, gentle question to carry with you. When you stand before this mirror, honestly and quietly, what parts of yourself will you see reflected back?